Streetwear icon, brand whisperer, former latchkey kid with a racing car bed. Today, I'm joined by Jeff Staple, the designer behind Nike's Pigeon Dunk. It was the shoe that sparked a riot and helped kick sneaker culture right into the mainstream. We talk about what it feels like to dig your own snow grave right on top of a mountain. Yes, that actually happened. Why a near-death moment can change how you take risks, and how Jeff turned Brooks from mum's running shoe, not that there's anything wrong with that, into a Paris Fashion Week moment. Along the way, he shares the habits that keep him grounded, how to reframe jealousy as social media plods along, and why sleep is now non-negotiable. We also geek out on Bruce Lee, cul-de-sac childhoods, and what really makes a brand cool. It's smart, it's funny, and it's surprisingly human. A reminder that this too shall pass, and sometimes the boldest move that you can ever make is just to wave everyone off and take the shot. Jeff, it is so lovely to have you with us on the Creative Boom podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
There's a warm Manchester welcome for you.
I wish I was in Manchester.
Well, it's always sunny in Manchester.
Yeah, there's actually there's a beam of light coming, so I'm just trying to avoid this. Oh, it's moving now. I could actually center up. Okay, cool.
It's your morning and my afternoon. You know, I'm bringing the energy. I'm pretending that I've just got up and I'm bouncing around the room.
One more coffee, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. At 5 o'clock, yeah, let's do it. It's quite a nostalgic moment. I'm going to just lay it down. I was born in 1978, so the 90s for me were, really pivotal, lovely decade for me. They felt really warm. And whenever I look back, I always see those years as kind of a happy time. What do you think when you look back on the 90s? Everybody seems to be loving them at the moment.
Yeah, it's having a retro moment for sure. I was born, you said 78?
Yeah.
I was born 3 years before you. I was born in 75. And I actually just saw this post and I actually shared it it was basically saying people born between 1960 and 1985 are the most special generation that mankind will ever see from this point forward. Because, it's the only generation that grew up without the internet and then inherited the internet, but is still savvy enough to adapt to Web3, blockchain, AI, VR, and all of that stuff. Whereas, the next generation didn't have the internet. The generation before that can't really grasp new tech. So we're like that special golden child. And I'd like to believe that. I'm sure many other generations would disagree with their own perspectives, but I like that stance. So I don't know, you asked about the 90s. I mean, to me, what draws the most heartfelt nostalgia is the 80s, actually. And I guess maybe that's because I'm 3 years before you. So the 80s to me was like really the cheesiness of it is what I love, but both eras were really good. I love the idea that decades kind of cycle and become like cool again, and that they always like trends, fashion, music, whatever it is, kind of like recycle, and I love that.
Yeah, you've spot on about the 80s. They felt very romanticized, didn't they? All the movies and the music. I get goosebumps when I, hear any kind of synthesizers from that era.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have a favorite memory from that time? If you can think back that far.
I can. I mean, it was, I was
That's British humor, by the way.
I was 5 to 10 years old. I mean, that's the childhood innocence era, where nothing really mattered except your friends that you were going to play with after school that day. That was like the biggest milestone of your day. And that's a really beautiful, naive thought. In fact, I have like right over here behind my monitor, I have like pictures of me from when I was a kid, because my therapist told me to do that. My therapist told me to put pictures of little Jeff when he was a kid so that, know that all of the things that you're doing and all the success you have, it's for that little kid,
That's so
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, I'm looking at little Jeff there, it was a great era.
I love that we're already getting into the differences between British people and Americans because we just sweep it under the carpet and hope for the best, whereas you actually deal with your feelings.
Oh, look at it. Yeah, stick it in front of your face and look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something the counselors or therapists, as you call them, they always look up, don't they? They get you to talk to your inner child. What was little? I mean, has anyone ever asked you this question? What was little Jeff like?
Uh, Little Jeff didn't have like a whole lot of family nucleus network, so I'm an only child. I was the term in America is called a latchkey kid. Do you have that term in the UK?
No, no, I've not heard of it.
You know what a latchkey is? Like when you close the door and then you lock that chain. There's like the
Yes,
bolt and then there's that chain. That's called a latchkey. Okay, so
yes,
a latchkey kid is a term where it means that both parents were working, and so they would leave the house with the kid alone at home, and they would be like, okay, put the latch on now so that nobody can break into the house, and we're just going to leave you home alone for the next 8 hours, and we'll
wow,
come back at night,
gosh,
and don't open the door for anyone until we come back. That's a latchkey kid. So I was a latchkey kid, and I had no siblings, so my childhood was quite lonely, and I had to really kind of figure out how to amuse myself, but also, you know, it's tough doing it alone because you don't even have like somebody, of course, nobody to play with and all the fun things, but I also think there's a lot of advantage to having somebody like beat you up and make fun of you too. Like there was no interaction. I had to make up all the good, all the bad, all the inspiring, all the non-inspiring, right? I had to like fabricate everything. Um, and I will say that in a kind of sink or swim mentality, if you don't sort of create a world for yourself in that latchkey kid environment of being an only child, you either become extremely imaginative or you become extremely depressed. And I guess I became very, very imaginative, and I dove into like comic books and anime and cartoons and superheroes and stuff like that and sports. But this is pre-internet, right? So we talked about that earlier. This is in the 80s. So I'm like looking at newspapers and magazines and stuff like that and like ripping out pages from the mag and sticking them up on the wall and everything. So that's how I sort of like triggered my imagination. And I guess you could say that if it wasn't for that, I might not be the sort of, in the career that I'm in today, maybe.
yeah, because you had to fend for yourself. I guess you learned to be,
Yeah,
look after
yeah, yeah,
yourself.
yeah. And I remember when I got a little bit older, like I might have been like 12 or 13. And this is like years now of just being this latchkey kid and not really having friends. Finally, like my dad had a talk with me, and he was like, "You need to make some friends. Like you need to go out and like." And it's funny. I took that command like a robot, like how you would prompt AI. I was just like, "Okay, let's go make friends. Let's go figure out how to make friends now." And then I made some friends,
Oh,
and then I had a small network of like 5 or 6 friends, and it was awesome to take that instruction and sort of get some human interaction as well.
maybe you were like the Goonies.
Yeah, I mean we had some fun out in like the driveways. It was all about I lived in New Jersey. New Jersey is very suburban, so it was just about like whose driveway are you going to that day, and then are we playing basketball or baseball or football or hockey or whatever, and then when the sun set, it was time to go home and then like do your homework and get dinner. That was life in New Jersey.
We were both cul-de-sac kids, Jeff.
Oh yeah, I was a cul-de-sac. Yeah, we had a
Yeah,
cul-de-sac.
yeah,
Wait, how
same. It
did you
was
know that?
great.
Did you know that?
Well, no, I did not. I just assumed that you lived in a
Wow.
cul-de-sac like I did, and it was great because you were safe and you could play out for hours and hours and hours until your dad came and stood outside and put his hands on his hips, right?
Yeah. Well, cul-de-sac, is that the round thing? Is that what you call it
Yeah,
too?
it's
Yeah, yeah.
closed off. It's safe.
Yes.
People would come in and everybody would, oh, who's this in the car if it wasn't somebody that lived there?
Right, exactly. Yes. I had that too.
Maybe it was that foundation and seeing your parents both work very, very hard, I presume.
Yeah.
That kind of work ethic and being on your own and then having this sort of very safe environment probably made you into a person that could take risks.
Yeah, I am a very risk averse person.
You're risk averse.
Wait,
I was
what does
going to
that
say
mean?
the
What does risk
opposite.
averse mean?
That means you avoid risks.
Oh
I'm
no,
gonna
I'm not. What's so?
you
How do you say
embrace.
I take risk embracing? Is that what it's called?
You're just a risk taker.
A risk taker. Okay, risk
Yeah.
averse versus. Thank you, English teacher. Okay, I am a risk taker. I can't say like I'm not a daredevil. Like I wouldn't say I love taking risks. Like I'm not base jumping or like ziplining
Oh
every
God,
day.
no.
But when faced with a debate or a challenge, I will tend to not go with the super safe choice. I'll go, if there's risk and then there's possible reward, I'll take the risk for sure. Did it stem from that? That's a great question. Maybe. You know where it stems from actually? We could get into this if you want, but I had a couple of like near death experiences like
Wow.
later on in life. Yeah. And I think going
What have
through
you been up to? What have you been doing, Jeff?
it was yeah, I went through two very distinct near death experiences, and that I think is what made me even more of a risk taker because I realized then that like tomorrow is not promised, so you might as well just go for it.
Can you talk about those moments, or are they very
Sure.
private to you?
No, I can. I'll let you decide. Do you want there's two. One was very, very quick and the other one was very, very long. Which one do you want to
Oh,
start with?
let's start with the long one. This season of the Creative Boom podcast is proudly sponsored by James Cropper, the last mill standing in Britain for premium coloured paper. Its new colour source range puts designers first, giving you direct access to 50 stunning shades in a range of weights and textures straight from the mill. Incredible colour, crafted in the Lake District and delivered straight to your door. Discover the paper that brings your ideas to life via paperandpackaging.jamescropper.com.
Okay, the long one was I'm an avid snowboarder, like
Nice.
hardcore snowboarder. Like I'll do helicopter snowboarding, and like we went to one trip was in Chile, to the Andes Mountains, which is the
Beautiful.
second highest mountain range in the world behind the Himalayas and Everest. So we went to a mountain that was 19,000 foot elevation. And, as a reference, Mount Everest is 23,000 feet. So it's up there. And I was snowboarding with eight of my friends. And then I got lost. It was what it's called a whiteout storm, where
Yes.
basically a blizzard comes in on the mountain, and then you can't see up, down, left, or right. You're just in a room of pure white.
Snowboarder
Oh,
here.
cool. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was whiteout situation, and I was I got lost from the crew, and then I got to essentially a cliff. I rode to a cliff that was 19,000 feet up, and then realized, okay, have to stop here, and then take my board off. The powder also was like waist high powder. So, as a snowboarder, once you stop in powder, you just sink down, right?
You do.
So I had to, and it's like quicksand. You're just like drowning in this mud of snow, essentially. So like, it's very, very, even talking about it like makes me asphyxiate a little bit because it's very like suffocating. Like you're stuck, you can't move, and then now I have to somehow take my board off, buried 3 feet below, and then like strap it onto my back and then start hiking. And so I was stuck out there for 6 hours by myself, like in a Sahara desert of snow. And if I didn't get out of the situation by sunset, I would have likely died overnight, from hypothermia or dehydration, or something was freezing cold too. So it's just like a lot of this lonely man walking through a white desert, essentially. Began
I shouldn't be laughing.
hallucinating. No, but I think you're laughing because you're a snowboarder, so you understand this situation well.
Yes.
But yeah, I started, hallucinating because of dehydration. Oh, you know what I did that was a stupid move? I started, I had a water bottle with like a small water bottle like this with half water left. And then I drank the whole thing. Of course, I finished it. And then I started putting snow into it and then like shaking it to get more liquid. But I then, after further research, that's not a good idea. Like, you can't, that's like being stuck in the ocean and then just drinking the water in the ocean. It's like highly salinated water that's dehydrating you even further. So I was doing that. Yeah, hallucinating, seeing crazy. I would see rock formations turn into people. Like, I was really like losing my mind. And then like I dug a 6 foot grave for myself and I laid in it. Like, just dug
You
a
just
hole.
sort
And
of accepted.
yeah, I just accepted. I'm not getting out of this. Like, there's no, there's no cell service. This is like way up high, So like, how is anyone gonna find me in this? This is like they're good. Like, I'm gonna be found next summer when the snow thaws and there's just this guy in snowboarding gear on the mountain.
There'll just be a pile of gorgeous clothes.
Yeah, just I'm disintegrated. Yeah.
Sorry.
Um,
I shouldn't be laughing, you poor thing.
yeah, but so right at like 5:30 p.m., like as the sun set, I miraculously got rescued. It actually turned out to be like if I'm on this mountain, it was another mountain where a guy saw that I was in a place that I shouldn't have been. He had the wherewithal to call the rescue team at this other mountain, and I don't even know who that guy is anymore. Then at like 5:30, I hear snowmobiles, but I think I'm hallucinating still. Um, but then it was real, and I was incredibly like rescued. It was like magical. And then it's funny when I reunited with my crew. They didn't even know I was missing because the crew split into two. So like one half of the crew thought I was with the other, and that crew thought I was with the other too. So weren't even looking for me. And that
See,
really
I thought
changed my life.
I thought the shorter near-death experience was when they found you, they all nearly killed you because they were so worried about you.
No. So that was a very harrowing, important experience for my life. And I'm very grateful for it, to be honest. I'm very grateful to have experienced a near-death situation like that in that way that is not like fast. Like my other near-death experience is I was in Japan riding a bike and I got hit by a truck head on. I head-on collisioned into a truck and went into the windshield of the truck. So that's a very opposite near-death experience because it happens in the blink of an eye. And you're just like, thank God. And most people's near-death experiences are like that. Like, I survived a plane crash or like a car accident or something, right? But to sit with a near-death experience for like 6 hours and go through all the emotions of like anger, frustration, regret, like just living with it for 6 hours is like torture. I mean, I think that's how they torture terrorists. Like, they make you think you're gonna die for days and days and days to like drive you crazy,
So what was the first thing you did? What was the first thing you did after you got rescued? Did you have a beer?
No, they had to check me, so I had to go to the hospital and everything. And what I did actually the next day, I immediately went back snowboarding because I knew that like I didn't want it to turn into some traumatizing phobia.
It's the best way.
I just went back on the horse right away. But when I got back to New York, and I remember vividly sitting back at my desk at work, emails, inbox, voicemail messages unread, and everything got put into very clear perspective of what is important and what is static and just noise. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm very, very grateful that I went through that. I've low key kept wanting to like I should start a business where I recreate near death experiences for people. So, like, how do I get them? And maybe that's like what people do when they jump out of a plane or go zip lining or bungee jumping. Maybe they want to get a taste of what it feels like to like almost die. But I think it's different when you pay for the admission ticket to do it versus when it's like forced upon you.
Yeah, gosh, can you just imagine? I think it just feels good to feel alive. And did you, when you'd gone through that experience and you were back at your desk, had you changed as a person as well? Was there a sort of moment where Jeff prior to the event was maybe not as confident, maybe not as sure of himself, maybe cared too much about what other people thought, and then just, why am I bothering? Was there a kind of defining change in the way you
Yeah.
felt about yourself in the world?
I think every creative tends to overanalyze and overcritique themselves. That's a natural behavior that we have. So I was definitely that person, a worrywart, a micromanager, had a lot of what's that word? Imposter syndrome. Am I good enough for this? And afterwards, it was just like, excuse my language, but like, fuck it. I'm alive. I'm here. Like, accept it. And I want to retain that as this happened when I was this was like 25 years ago now.
Wow.
And so I want to retain that nugget of like clarity, and the world, as you and I know, loves to inflict static and diversion onto you, right? And cloud your mind with that. But I always want to try to remember myself on that mountain. Like I do bring myself back to that moment, especially in times of stress, whether it's from business or from personal. I'm like, Jeff, you were on that mountain. Never forget that you were on that mountain and you dug your own grave. Like all of this will be fine. And there's that famous saying, like, this too shall pass. Like this, it's all good. This will pass.
It's such a powerful silver lining when you go through something difficult. I went through a horrendous back injury last year and it completely put me out for the whole year. And from that, I went through a very similar experience. It's just so liberating.
Yeah.
You just let all of that stuff go. And you're right, you have to keep remembering. You have to keep going back.
You do.
Otherwise, you
And
just fall back
so easily. You mentioned the back injury. Like if you ever get like food poisoning or a stomach ache, and it just like kills you for like a day or two, and then you come out of it, and that day you're just like so relieved and so thankful and grateful that you don't have that stomach bug anymore. But then that Friday night, you're probably eating nachos and hot dogs all over again. Like,
You're eating all the stuff you shouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not the smartest in that way, us humans.
No, we're not. And this is what I'm thinking, gosh, when am I going to forget? But I think, like you, it's just really staying with me. So hopefully I can remember that, my own mountain moment. Maybe, maybe that's your, next entrepreneurial thing, Jeff's mountain retreat.
Mountain. Oh, yeah.
But, it's funny. You mentioned, when you were a kid and you were sort of finding friends. Is the kind of move when you were a kid, move into like the love of street art and culture, was that to find a sense of belonging in a way? Because it's such a great culture.
Yeah, I actually didn't find the love of street culture until college. So as a child, it was really about sports and I would say comics, like, cartoons was the two things. And that's a really great mix for me because on the sports side, you have pure skill and athleticism. And I do believe that design is somewhat of an athletic sport in the sense that, I'm trying to say this politely, there are good people, there are phenoms, there are great designers, and then there's like not good people, and they can go to school for like decades and they just won't be good. I hate to say that because I'm supposed to say like, no, keep going at it and you'll get good. You keep going at it and you'll get decent.
Yeah.
But it is a skill set where, no matter how many free throws you spend shooting in the gym, you won't be Michael Jordan. Like, you won't be LeBron James, like, I'm sorry. So I think design is very similar in that way, and that's why I love sports. And then with sports, there was also like this kind of, obviously sneakers played a huge part in sports. So that love of sneakers came from that. And just swag, like overall, if you imagine like Allen Iverson or Michael Jordan or Bo Jackson or Andre Agassi or John McEnroe, like these people had swagger, in how they wore their clothes and fashion and spoke and everything. So I adapted that. And then on the comics cartoon side, it was the artistic side, right? Like how good people are at drawing, and storytelling was also a big part. So if you break those things down to its core of storytelling, artistic expression, swag, and then skill, that was like the tenets of my life as an 8 to 17 year old. And so that was the baseline for me. But from what you're asking about street fashion, streetwear, street culture, or sneaker culture as a sort of thing that we know today, um, that didn't happen until like 1997 when I left New Jersey and went to NYU, New York University. Um, and I think being in New York City in the mid 90s, uh, and because my parents also worked in New York City, so I would go to New York City throughout the 80s as well. That
Yeah.
era of New York is an incredible time. It's just like, uh, you know, there's plenty of movies that you can watch about like what New York looked like, and it really did look like that. So when you add that element of like raw New York City energy into the tenants that I mentioned, that is what I think like sort of sparked my brain.
Yeah, you went to college, didn't you? And looked around at all the other kids and thought, oh shit, I better dress like these cool kids.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I would
yeah.
have been like. I'd have been, oh gosh, look,
Well,
I'm
I
going to
was
have to
kind of
make an
like
effort.
I was kind of like the one that I would always want to stray from the flock in a sense. Like if everybody was wearing this, I would want to stop wearing it. And then I would, in high school, I would get ridiculed a lot because of the way I was dressed. I would get bullied, and I distinctly remember getting into one physical fight altercation because of the way I dressed. It
Gosh.
ended up turning into a fight. Yeah, so I was martyring myself for fashion early. um, but that turned out to be a better it turned out to be advantageous later on, because then it turned into, from like, on the one hand, being weird as a kid. As you get a little bit older in college, it becomes like individualism and self-expression. So it's funny
Yeah.
how I always find throughout there's a repeating theme in my life where like I do the same thing, but on one day people call me weird or crazy or stupid or I don't get you. And then somewhere along the line, a light switches where it's like, oh no, you're a genius. What you're doing is amazing. But the whole time I was just doing the same thing. So it's like, I think that's a lesson to a lot of young people, is like, just because people surrounding you don't really get what you're doing does not mean you're doing the wrong thing at all.
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to conform anyway?
Conform is okay sometimes in certain situations, but it's to each his own. Some people maybe are actually, not some people. 98% of the human population does want to conform. You know,
Yeah, they want to belong.
yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
being an individual or individualistic uh, is for everybody. It's a lonely
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, it takes a lot of guts to try something different.
Yeah. hmm
Definitely. Can you remember your first sneakers?
that I bought and wore, or that I designed.
Yeah,
That I
that
bought and
you
wore.
bought and wore.
The one that changed my life was the Air Jordan 3. That was the
Right.
one
Nice.
where, but before the Air Jordan 3, I didn't really understand. This is 1985, so I was 10 years old. I didn't understand how shoes were made. I thought shoes came out of like a sausage maker, like completely formed. Like they come out of a machine and it's just like, here's your shoe, right? And then when the Air Jordan 3 came out, it really it triggered something in my brain where I was like, wait, this is a totally different thing. Who made this? Who designed this? Like, who conceived of this? Who put this together? Whereas if you think about every other shoe before the Air Jordan 3, it was like the Converse Chuck Taylor, which is like the OG sneaker. Every shoe after the Converse Chuck Taylor was a derivative of the Chuck Taylor. Like you add a thing here, change a color there, but essentially all shoes look like the Chuck Taylor for many decades until the Air Jordan 3. And it was like, oh my God, what is this? It looks like a fighter jet, and like all these different things are going on. And so that one was really life changing for me. And the other thing that happened with that is when I wore those to school, I remember I was in the sixth grade. I saw everyone's neck get snapped. This is a sneakerhead expression where you snap necks. It basically
Yeah.
means like someone looks at
Turn
you and then
heads.
yeah, they go like this, and then like their neck falls down. And I made a whole class of necks snap because of the shoes that I was wearing. And I was like, wow, this is a powerful sensation. Like I want to keep going. So every week I'm trying to make their neck snaps. And then I quickly became the sneaker guy. But again, in that high school, people didn't wear, like they wore one shoe for the whole year, the whole school year. And if you ruined the shoes and you made your mom buy you a new pair, you would get in trouble for that. So this idea
Yeah.
of like flexing on sneakers and wearing different sneakers to match your outfits was non-existent in the mid 80s.
Wow. And
Yes.
how did you buy them? How did you buy them? Did you have a little side job, after school
I
job?
did. Yeah, I did. I sold comic books. I swept hair at a hair salon. When I got a little bit older, I bussed tables at the local Chinese restaurant. You're of my generation, so you'll remember VHS tapes. VCR
Yes.
VHS tapes. I used to work at a store that rented those, and my job was, so you remember, if you returned the VCR tape without rewinding it, you would
Oh,
get penalized, right?
yes.
Yeah, you get $1 penalty, and they used to write "Be kind, rewind" on the tape.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten about that.
This is my job here. And so you have to ask yourself, well, what happens if people bring back their videotape and it's not rewound? Who rewinds the videotape? That was my job. I just
Yeah.
sat there and I just put tapes in and hit the rewind button, take it out of the machine, put it back in the box, and I just rewound videotapes. I
To
also
buy
delivered
sneakers.
pizzas. I also delivered pizzas. That was a very fruitful job, that paid well. But yeah, I just did all these like odd jobs just to be able to like, buy sneakers, which were like 50, $60 at the time.
That's amazing. So you were never shy of hard work, and that carried on
No,
after college, and you started your own design company, your own clothing label, and the rest is history. We know all the history. Do you ever sleep?
I do now. Sleep is very important. I used to not sleep. I really, like, I would say between 20 and 40, like those 2 decades, I probably averaged 3 to 5 hours a night of sleep. And I wore it like a badge of honor. I was like, yeah, no, no sleep. Sleep is the cousin of death. Like all this stuff. Like, always
Hustle.
grind. Yeah, hustle culture. And then basically when I turned 40, 45, after really hustling hard and building this kind of like global brand, and having a bunch of employees working with me, and incredible stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'm a streetwear designer, and I'm a two-time college dropout, and here I am overseeing like 75 people in this global enterprise. I decided to start looking at my own health and wellness, both physically and mentally and spiritually, right? All of the three magic sort of like chakra alignments, if you could get the three aligned. The way I saw it was an investment into myself. Like, what's the point of building all of this and then at 60 having a stroke or a heart attack or like suffering dementia or something like that? Like let's now invest, just like I did into my business, into my own being, so that I have the best possible shot of continuing to do this into my hundreds, hopefully. So for the last 5 to 10 years, I've been really focusing on my health and well-being, and I'm very, very thankful for it. So sleep is a major factor in that. I'm learning that sleep is actually the undeniable thing that you can't hack your way out of. Like, you could sort of biohack and life hack out of like many other things to make yourself more efficient, but
Yeah.
not sleeping is an immutable thing that you will lose that battle. You will definitively lose the battle of no sleep.
I think though, if you understand what it's like to run a business, there's a fear, isn't there, of being left behind, or if you don't stop, having the foot on the gas,
Yeah.
you're going to miss out. You're going to miss that big break.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the
Exactly.
big
And you're
break came.
watching,
Go on.
I was going
Sorry.
to say, like, you're watching the competition too on social media, and you're like,
Oh
man,
God, yeah.
these guys must not be sleeping. I need to like, like keep going, like, of course, nobody shows their low light reel. They only show their highlight reel, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
it's disturbing to watch all of that stuff.
Yeah. I just ignore the competition. But you had a breakout moment, obviously, with the pigeon dunk,
Hmm. Yeah.
which just changed everything, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I can show it to you. You want me to grab one?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Thank you. Fabulous.
Okay. So
So can you
Yeah,
explain it to our listeners, just in case they don't know?
this is a sneaker that I designed for Nike. It's called the Nike Pigeon Dunk. And essentially the brief was, Jeff, we want you to design a sneaker that's dedicated to New York City. And I was like, okay. I thought about it for a long time, and I was like, I mean, I know they want me to do the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty and kind of do like a touristy feel of it. But I was like, I really want to do something that only a true New Yorker who lives and breathes in New York 24/7 would like understand the inside joke of, right? And so I decided to make the entire shoe like look like a pigeon. You know, it's got gray uppers, different shades, white hits like the wing and the lace, and then right on the back you've got the pigeon embroidered on it. And when we released this, it was crazy. It was just like a literal riot broke out at my store. And then it was on the front page of the New York City papers the next day. It was on the evening news that night. And it just really put this very subculture underground scene of sneaker collecting on a global view from that point on. And it was a very fateful day, February 22nd, 2005. Many people say that's the day that's sneaker culture exploded globally because of this shoe. And, because of that, this shoe now like on Sotheby's or Christie's, if you look it up, like it's going for near six figures. It's like $100,000 to buy.
I was going to ask.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It's quite the holy grail of the culture. So, I'm very honored that Nike asked me to do that, and that wasn't the first shoe I had designed for Nike. I designed probably like 10 or a dozen or so other sneakers, but this one was the one that hit really hard. And it's a blessing. It's a gift and a curse because it means so much to so many people. Like it actually gets anniversaried in the sense that like every year on February 22nd, like the internets just talk about on this day in 2005, the Pigeon Dunk was released. So it's almost become like a holiday.
How's that make you feel?
It's incredible. I mean, I'm so blessed and grateful to have that. The double-edged sword part of it is that people then pigeonhole you, right? They pigeonhole you into like you're the guy that made this, and that's it, like nothing else. And because the shadow of this is so large and wide that anything else I do is very difficult to pierce through that shadow. And it's probably very similar to like a musician who made like a massive hit song, and then every other song that came out after, like, where's your next big hit? It's like, I made 5 albums. Nah, not those albums. We need the next hit. It's like, it's sort of like a gift and a curse, yeah.
But you've not been shy of success since, and the pigeon theme carried on, didn't it?
Yeah. It's. I mean, we were developing a mascot for the brand, like like how Ralph Lauren has a polo horse or Lacoste has a crocodile. Like we were exploring the idea of using a pigeon as our mascot, and then as fate would have it, that's when Nike called and said, "Will you make a dunk for New York City?" And so that was like the sort of 1 + 1 = 10 kind of moment that could happen. And so we used this shoe as a jumping off point to then create like, pigeon themed clothing. And now the whole brand is sort of like, it really is the mascot of the brand. And I have to say it worked. It really worked.
Yeah.
I get messages all the time from people all over the world saying like, I can't look at a pigeon and not think of you or your brand. And there's a lot of pigeons in the world. So that's a lot of thinking about me and the brand, what I didn't know back then was that pigeons are infesting every major metropolitan area. I thought it was just a New York thing, but it turns out, I eventually went to, Venice and Milan and Tokyo and London, and it's like the pigeons are very strong in every place that there's a dense city, So when I released this shoe, even though I did it as a New York shoe, everyone thought it was like their shoe too, that's the cool part about how it exploded overnight worldwide.
It's so cool. And, all your clothing now, well, it had the mark of a pigeon poop for authenticity. Yes. Is that right?
Yeah.
Love that.
We put pigeon poop on items to sort of beat the bootleggers, because the bootleggers would likely not put poop on an item, but we actually have a poop art, and it's even funny story. It's even trademarked with the patent and trademark offices. So there, I have a government sheet of paper that just has a pigeon splat in the front of it, and it says like registered to Staple and myself. So I have pigeon poop owned and trademarked.
Well, not that we want to think about these things, but it's the gravestone. If you thought about the gravestone, you've got to have the pigeon poop on it.
The gravestone will be a
That's
pigeon coop, just a
Yes!
like a coop. Yeah.
That's a long way in the future.
Yeah.
Just be careful when you go snowboarding. Good grief. And now you've been running, things have evolved, but you've got Reed Art Department now, which I think's been going since 2019. But the last 12 months in particular have been really successful for you. You've been working with Brooks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They've been
Brooks Running.
like Brooks, the sports brand that you just would not associate with lifestyle at all. So I find this really super interesting. You're
you.
working with them to help them do that?
In a sense, yeah. It is an incredible opportunity because Brooks is this billion-dollar company that is the number one performance running brand in America. And I've always been a fan of running in Brooks. But, as most people do, they wear performance sneakers like Nikes and Adidas to not do the sport that they were intended or designed to do. They go shopping in it. They have brunch in sneakers, right? So, and what I was noticing is that I would go for a run in Brooks, and then when I went to meet up with my friends after my run, I'd have to change my shoe. And that little instant of like, wait, why am I changing out of my Brooks to meet up with my friends? But if I'm wearing Nikes, I don't change out of the Nike. I just wear the Nikes, right? So I was like, there's a problem and an opportunity here. So I reached out to Brooks through Instagram DM. Okay.
Whoa.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
8 years ago, I reached out to them
Good
on
grief.
DM. And we started just talking and talking. It started with DMs, then it started with like, we'll send you shoes. Then it was like, let's have a Zoom. Then it was like, come out to Seattle, which is where their headquarters is. And then I went out to Seattle like maybe 5 or 6 times. And just a lot of like hand holding and education, really, because their mentality, which is not wrong, was like, we're already number one in the thing that we intended to do, performance running. Anything else will just take our eyes off the real prize, like we don't want to get distracted, right? And I was like, yeah, no, get that. I respect that. And so it was really understanding what I bring to the table, what the culture brings to the table, and what the opportunity is. And finally, last year, we partnered to finally, one of the things that I always wanted to do was open the vault of Brooks. Like they always only innovate for the future, but Brooks is over 100 years old. So imagine what the archive looks like, and they never look in there.
What?
So I was like, let me dig in the archives, and actually let me bring another shoe. Hold on. You can imagine my office is it's basically a sneaker store in my office.
It's a museum.
Yeah, so this shoe is a Brooks shoe from 2004.
That's gorgeous.
Okay, so it's a 20-year-old shoe. Obviously, we redid a lot of stuff and colors and panels and everything. But when I saw the base of, like, just the silhouette of this shoe, I was like, this is now, guy. I mean, you talk about the 90s coming back, and then, like, the early aughts are coming back, right? Like, when I saw this, I was like, it's time for this. And they entrusted me to, like, dig into the vault, bring this back out, then redesign it. And then there's the little pigeon guy on the tongue there,
So cute.
And then add my hit to it, and then we released it, and it really overnight put Brooks on the map from a lifestyle standpoint. We actually launched this at Paris Fashion Week. They've never been to a Paris Fashion Week, and when I say they never been to, I don't mean they never exhibited at Paris. Like they never even visited a Paris fashion show. So it was like very different world. Now they're there. We're doing a launch. Kids are waiting online to get a Brooks shoe for the first time ever. And that was really the number one reaction we heard, was that like these kids were just like, I've never checked for Brooks in my life. Like my mom wears Brooks, to pick up my little sister at the soccer game, but like I've never checked with Brooks. So like doing this project was really great, I think, for them and for us, because it showed me anyway. I don't know if people really get it, but it showed that like we don't need to do the one trick pony of going to like the usual suspects and like creating wins. Like we have the power and the insight and the skills to do it with anybody. You know, another one that I'm really proud of that we work with was the brand called Cole Haan. Do you know that brand?
No.
You don't know Cole Haan? Colehaan. It's a really like traditional loafer, like an accountant would wear Cole Haan to like do his taxes.
Jeff, I'm a bit of a dork. I'm not cool like you.
Okay, look it up. I wouldn't be surprised like if you accidentally owned some Cole Haan and didn't even know it.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right, maybe.
But we work with that brand and also made them really cool because I recognize that there are a lot of accountants and office workers and 9-to-5ers that sit in a cubicle that secretly have a Facebook window of like sneaker culture on the side, but they have to wear this suit and tie and these loafers. But I was like, what if I created something for that guy so that he can be fly when he goes to work? And that's exactly what happened, you know? So it's fun for me to take on these risky challenges because the flip side of it is it could have gone really bad. Like it could have been like, man, Jeff had a great thing going until he worked with Brooks. that could have been a reality too, but I'm willing to take the gamble and do it for the greater good of Brooks, but also like my kind of like chapters in my next book of life, you know.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because it opens up a fascinating conversation about what makes a brand cool. How do you change the perception of a brand from what might be seen as, you know, some footwear that you are a bit embarrassed to wear maybe, but you wear it because it's functional and it's very supportive and does the job for your jog, but you're embarrassed to wear to the coffee shop or to meet your friends. You know, how would you make a brand cool?
That question that you just asked is the most fascinating thing to me in the world.
I find it.
Do you find it fascinating too? Like,
I find it fascinating. Like, what makes? Because I want to be cool, Jeff.
I think you are cool.
Thanks, love.
But yeah, I think about that 24/7. You know, and it goes the other way. It goes, how did this brand that was once so cool not cool anymore? Like, how did they mess that up? You know. But yeah, more often than not, I'm looking for opportunities where I see a diamond in the rough, so to speak, of a brand that could really be something special. Like another one is that I think about in footwear is Crocs. Like
yes,
5 years ago, Crocs was like an embarrassing brand to wear, you know, and now it's like they turned it around. And I love we collaborated with Crocs. I won't take credit for that, but like we did some collaborations with Crocs while they were on their ascent that I think added fuel to the fire. But it's an awesome story to see how a brand that was like not just like it's not that no one didn't pay attention to Crocs. It was like people were anti-Crocs. Like I would never be caught dead in a pair of Crocs. And then to turn that around in a short amount of time, relatively speaking, to be like, I need my 5th pair of Crocs now. You know, like it's crazy.
And swap the colours as well. Have one foot in one colour and one foot in the other.
Left and right, yeah. That's I can't get around that. That's not that cool.
No. I actually have many Crocs in many different colours, but it's for camping rather than cool. I haven't quite been able to dare wear them out and about and meet my friends in them.
Lunch? No? Okay.
No. No, I just got some Flower Mountains.
Oh, very, very good brand.
Yeah, I like Japanese design.
You didn't hear it from me. You might have heard it from a little bird, but there might be some Jeff Staple Flower Mountains coming in the near future.
Oh, incredible. Love it. I love how you said little bird, little pigeon.
Little birdie, yeah, little birdie. Little scoop for you there.
All right. I will look out. I'm going to
make
choice.
A note that just shows you are cool. That just shows you are cool.
I've got Studio Nicholson. I've got Margaret Howell. I'm cool. Anyway, no, you're not cool if you have to say you're cool. There is so much we could talk about, and we're running out of time, sadly. Maybe we'll have to get you on the show again.
Sure.
But if there's one thing you could look back on when you sort of like look at that picture on your wall of the kid in the cul-de-sac, maybe he's wearing a baseball cap. Maybe he's got like a baseball. Were you into baseball? Has he got a little baseball bat on his shoulder, looking proud?
Yep.
Maybe it's sort of like, a really kind of orange brown toned.
Exactly.
Film.
It is. Yes.
Is
yes.
it? Can I see it? Can you take it off the wall
yeah.
and show us? That's crazy.
Here, this is me in my racing car bed, but it's with the Mickey Mouse. Now, Mickey Mouse is very key in my life, because if you think about Mickey Mouse at its core is a rat, and nobody likes rats, but everybody loves Mickey Mouse. And when you think about the pigeon, it's a flying rat. Nobody likes pigeons either. But what Disney did to the rat, I'm trying to do to the pigeon.
I love that. And is that, like I was going to say, if you look at that photo of yourself, what would you say to the little kid there, What was going through his mind?
This is a therapy session again.
I know, I can't help it. I'm a girl.
What I'm supposed to say is, little Jeff, you did the thing. You would be so proud of who you've become.
Oh. But you don't want to tell him that, because he needs to go through the hardship himself.
This is like the Asian tiger parent in me. It's like, no, you must grind. There's nothing is promised for you. Like, the world is going to eat you up and spit you out. So get out there and fight.
And you're still fighting.
I am still fighting. And I still, even when you say these complimentary things to me, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to take the compliment. I feel like I have a gag reflex, to be honest. Because I'm afraid that if I take a compliment, it will make me complacent. And then hence weak. This is my issue. I have this issue. My therapist tells me this all the time. I have this issue where, like, there's positive and chaos, and it's on a seesaw. And for some reason, I have this thing in my brain where if something goes slightly off, it will be the end of the world. It will lead to, like, complete chaos and disaster. But what I need to learn, and I'm learning, is that the world is filled with grays. It's not black and white. It's actually much more gray than it is black and white. It's, if you look at the grayscale line, there's only, the end is black and the end is white, but the whole middle is gray, right? But I live in this reality where, like, no, if you mess up, everyone loses their job and Staple is over. Like, and that's not actually true, but it's a very sort of like, it's been programmed into me to think that way. And I need to stop. And everybody that's listening to this needs to understand that, like, it's not like that. It's,
no,
you can make mistakes, you can have wins, you can have losses, you can take a break, you can sleep 8 hours, and everything will be fine.
Absolutely. I love that. And you only have to look at the New York Pigeons to see that, some of them have lost an eye, some of them have lost an entire foot, but they're still going.
Exactly. Great analogy.
Thanks again to James Cropper for sponsoring this season of the Creative Boom podcast. Remember, its colour source range gives designers direct access to 50 beautiful shades and a choice of textures, all crafted in the Lake District and delivered straight to your door. Explore the collection and bring your next project to life at paperandpackaging.jamescropper.com. We're gonna go further under the surface a little bit now with the spark, and I get to ask you some fun questions just to sort of figure out who you are a little bit more, if I haven't already, stuck my nose in your business and tried to figure out who.
That last interview was a therapy session, so you got very very deep already, deeper than most.
That's what people always say to me, like, God, you really get into the kind of psychological side of things. I'm like, I just like people and find them interesting. What can I say? All right, so what's a piece of creative advice you always ignore but it works for you?
Journaling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like writing, taking out the pen and the pad and, like, write as much as you can first. I always ignore it, but I know it's good. It does work. But I always tend to just go straight into Illustrator and start, like, go like, no, let's just go out for a walk, look at the trees, and then pull out a moleskin and just start writing stuff down and journaling, and then go to the computer after. That's always good advice. But I think in this world of just like deadlines and speed and like, turnaround time, like we tend to just want to get to the answer.
Yeah, I feel like you and I are quite similar. Do you remember to breathe? I
Breathing is
forget to breathe.
no big thing. Yeah. Even three of those changes
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yes. It really does. We have to remember to just calm down and
Yeah.
stop running so fast. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's something we share in common. Have you ever been creatively jealous of someone and how did you handle it?
On a, if not daily basis, then weekly basis. It's all the fault of social media. We're
Yeah.
looking at everyone's highlight reels, and it's inevitable that you're gonna feel jealous. Um, I don't think you should fault yourself for feeling jealous. That's a natural human reaction. What you need to do is train yourself to compartmentalize the jealousy into something positive versus bringing yourself deeper into a dark hole. And what you need to realize is that this person that you're envious of on your phone that you're looking at is going through a lot of bullshit in their life also. And they have a lot of trial and tribulations, and they're not showing it to you. They're just curating the 10 best slides because the algorithm told them to do it that way. And so they're showing you the highlight reel. And you can do the same thing if you want. You could also choose to be more real and transparent and show the reality of what you're going through, which also works for the algorithm. But just know that everyone is going through their individual BS in their life. And this is not a competition of who stacks the most, or even it's not even a competition of who has the most grief either. It's just you are living in your own lane and just do you.
Yeah, I love that. It's like my nanny used to say, you never know what hell other people are going through.
Yeah,
It's
right.
liberating. You don't want them to go through hell, but it certainly makes you feel better knowing
Yeah,
that we're all human and we're all so
yeah.
similar, really. Um, when you are going through a difficult moment, or even if you're just having a good day, is there a small ritual or habit that makes your existence better, your day?
Um, I'm a massive creature of habit. I'm a very routine, ritualistic, same thing, same minute of the day, every day type person.
Wow.
And so when I go off of any of that, it sucks. Probably one of the things. This is a boring one. Let me think of a good one. Uh, okay.
I Yeah, I feel like if I don't do the thing that I promised to do, it really bugs me for the rest of the day, and then I feel like the whole day's a failure.
I used to be like that too. Like you, do
Oh,
you
come
make
on,
do you make
Jeff. I
to-do
used
lists?
to be crap like you.
I used to be an inferior human like that.
Come
Wait,
on, I
do you
like
make
this.
to-do lists? Like
Yeah,
yeah. I used to be
yeah.
like, if I don't have everything off the to-do list, I failed.
It's
It's
just
okay.
ridiculous.
No, it happened this weekend. I had a weekend to-do list, like just little chores I wanted to do. I probably knocked off 30% of them. 70% are undone, but I'm not stressed about it anymore. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to go
exactly.
snowboarding.
I'm gonna go
get,
snowboarding in the
get
Himalayas.
lost. Yeah.
But
Get
so the
lost in a
ritual,
snowstorm.
I'll give you one ritual that I do that is a real game changer. I wake up at 6 a.m. now, and it is very important, I found through doing research, that the sun has to hit your face and eyes the moment you get up. So I
Yeah.
get out of bed, a little TMI here, I urinate, but then I go straight. That's the only. I don't brush my teeth. I don't wash my face. I don't put makeup on. I don't change my clothes. I just go straight outside with my dog, right? And I take a walk around the entire block. It's only 10-15 minutes. That's it. But getting the sun in your face at 6 a.m. it changes the whole perspective of the day. You know what 90% of the world does when they get up?
Stares at the phone.
They do this.
No, 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 no.
No, up and out. And it just
Yep.
changes everything. Just do that. Just try that for 7 days and see what difference it makes in your life.
I do that. I do that in the morning. It just don't get as much sunshine as you, my love.
Oh,
Not in the
wait.
winter.
Pro tip. If
Ooh.
it's overcast and if it's cloudy, it's even more important to go outside and stare into the overcast
Yeah.
sky. Yeah. The
Love that.
photons and the lumens is a measurement of light. the lumens that come out on a gray day, it's insane. It's like, I forgot the number. It's like 50,000. Whereas like even the brightest white light in your house is like 5,000. So it's like,
Wow.
it's, even a gray day is massively important, more important to go outside.
You've clearly not lived in the north of England during the winter time, have you?
No, the winter.
No,
is
I love
tough.
it.
The winter is tough
Well,
for sure.
It is tough for us, but we're a good bunch. We've still got our humour, I think. It is starting to go dark now as well. Well, I'm just going to come and live over there. This season of the Creative Beam podcast is sponsored by James Cropper, and its new colour source range is a game changer for designers. It gives you direct access to 50 carefully created shades with a choice of weights and textures straight from their Lake District mill. Beautiful, sustainable coloured paper made in Britain by experts who live and breathe colour. Right, what's a scent or smell that instantly takes you back to a memory?
Baseball glove leather. You know that
That's a
old
good
baseball
one.
glove leather? That just takes me back to 8-year-old Jeff in the cul-de-sac kid, and like let's go play ball. That smell is awesome.
Oh, happiness. See,
Yeah.
we had a good childhood, really.
Mhm.
Right, now this is quite an interesting one. If you could swap lives with a historical figure for a week, who would it be?
So many.
I know.
The one that comes to mind is Bruce Lee.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
For two reasons. One is because, we're obviously both of Asian descent and Chinese, and what he was doing for our people back then, he put all of Asian culture on his back single-handedly. Like there was no one else back then, right? So this single one person was representing for 3 billion people. So feeling that for a week would be amazing. And then the other thing, which we spoke about in our longer interview, was about skill and that sort of like Michael Jordan-ness, right? And I don't know if you've heard the story, but when he was doing films, his movements were so fast that the editors would need to slow down the film so that people can actually see his movements on camera. And I
Wow.
would love to just know how it feels to A, be representing for a culture completely, and B, be so in tune with your mind, body, and soul that you could move in that way. That would be a great thing to experience for a week.
Well, he certainly had discipline, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he was staring at his phone first thing in the morning, or
No.
he was great. He was so wise. I loved some of his lines in
Oh
the
yeah.
films, which I think he wrote himself. Some of them.
He was an incredible poet. Incredible poet. One of my can I drop you my favorite Bruce Lee line?
Only if I can share mine afterwards.
Okay. All right. Maybe imagine we had the same
You,
one.
I know. Go on. You go first.
Okay. My favorite Bruce Lee line is he said he was talking about like his greatness, that he was being interviewed, and how does it feel to be so great, and he goes, if I tell people how good I am, they'll say that I'm boasting, but if I tell people that I'm bad, they'll know I'm lying. And I just love that like reverse compliment. Like, yeah, I could say I'm
It's just
good and
wise,
you'll say
isn't
you're
it?
braggadocious, but if I say I'm bad, I'm lying.
Yeah.
Okay, what's yours?
It's so mine is it's like a finger pointing to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger, or you miss out on all that heavenly glory.
Did he say that one?
It was a line in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Don't think about
And
this. Yeah.
yeah, just as in try not to sort of hone in on something, try to keep an open mind,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I interpret it, try and sort of
Yeah.
keep questioning things, stay curious.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A lot of people just focus on that, don't they?
Yeah. See the forest from the tree.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I love those movies. Those movies for me were the 90s, smoking pot and listening to
Enter the
hip hop
Dragon.
and yeah, basically. I think we all did that. I mean, I'm not gonna say that you did. I can get myself into trouble.
Right.
Yeah. If your inner critic had a voice and a name, what would it sound like?
Oh, great question.
This is so philosophical.
It is Phyllis. The answer says a lot. And I'm already trying to censor my answer, which I shouldn't. But I'll just say it's my mom's voice. Just terrible.
What does she say your full name when you're in trouble?
No, she doesn't. But she says it. She says this Chinese word, which is like it translates to the sun, the SON, right? And like my mom and I will be in a room, a small room, just the two of us, nobody else, and she'll begin speaking to me by saying the sun. Like imagine like the daughter, come here. Like there's no one else in this room. Who are you talking to? Like just say the word that you want to say. You don't have to start with the sun.
Gosh.
Yeah, so it's very, very.
I love that.
She's a cool mom. She's super cool. She's not like this, beating you in the butt with a ruler type mom. Like she's really cool, but like I think
She
it's
just
more
wants you to be the best you can be, Jeff. That's it.
exactly. Yeah, it's really a reflection on myself and not her. Well, maybe a little bit her, but mostly me. Mostly it's a reflection on me.
Oh, I love my parents. They were strict when I was a kid, but I'm grateful for that.
I am grateful too. I am grateful that they beat the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Were you a naughty kid?
I don't even remember. I don't think so. But like, I was spanked. They had different weapons to spank me with. Like, it was either a coat hanger, a belt, or a feather duster, depending on the severity of what I did. They'd be like, "Oh, this is belt time." It's like, I love that. I don't have kids now, so I can't tell people how to parent. I'm not a parent, but I think life needs to have some penalties. Basically,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we were of a certain generation, weren't we? And
Yeah.
we knew all my dad would have to say was, "You've got 3 seconds to get to your bedroom."
Yes.
And I would be defiant, and I'd wait to 2.5, and then as soon as he went, and I'd be like,
Exactly.
"Wow, there we go." Oh, dream dinner guest, dead or alive?
Let's see. I mean, Bruce would be one. Let me think of another one.
Yeah, you can't have Bruce twice.
Yeah. Dream.
I always
dinner.
struggle with this one.
I know because it's a
So many
one-on-one
great people.
too.
Yeah.
I'll say Barack Obama, alive.
Oh,
obviously.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to him. I'm not even that deep into the political landscape or anything. Like I'm not, that person. But he just seems so intelligent and charming and charismatic that I think a dinner with him would be lovely.
Yeah, you could slip some truth agent into his drink and then ask him about all the things he's not allowed to share.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
But he's also cool, like
Sorry, Brett.
his his playlist and his reading list, like, and he like loves sports and everything. Like, it wouldn't just be about politics and government. Like, we could talk about all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I want to know if Area 51's real.
It is.
Is it?
Definitely is. Yes,
Do you believe in all that?
I do. Hardcore.
Wow.
I'm a hardcore believer.
Are you?
I'm
You're
gonna
really
say
into
this-
sci-fi.
I'm going to say this on record. I've never said this on any podcast or recording ever. And I'm going to say this now because when it comes true, everyone can look back and be like, holy freaking shit, Jeff Staple was right. Here's my theory. Every bullshit thing that you watch on the news today, whether it's like wars or scandals or sex tapes or whatever, is all being thrown to you because in the background, the real people in charge are trying to figure out, and they're scrambling, they're trying to figure out how to release the information that extraterrestrials are here. And they're trying to figure it out of like, how do we prep the population so that when it's here, they don't just start being cannibals. Like, how do we control this situation and release this in a way, like, even when you see UFO sightings and like all these little like hearings that are happening every once in a while, these are all a controlled press release to get us used to the idea that we are interacting with extraterrestrials, and all this other clickbaity news stuff is just to divert our attention from this groundbreaking thing where, because it could go one of two ways if and when this happens. It either is like we all kumbaya and say we're all earthlings together. No more world wars, no more, this versus them, left versus right. We're all in this together. We have a new common ally and a new
Optimist
common
point of view.
yeah,
Yeah.
optimist point of view.
Or it's
The
all
other
out
point of
chaos.
view, it's all out end of world chaos. Right.
There's
So
going to be people breaking into your house trying to steal your sneakers.
yes. And more. So
yeah.
I think there's like maybe a room of 100 people that are trying to figure out how to like disseminate this information.
I think they probably keep a few things from us, don't they?
Yeah. What do you think? Do
I
you,
think
do you
you'd-
believe in extraterrestrial beings?
I'd like to. I'd like to. I'd like to think that they are aware of us and mean well, that they've already been, and they're like, yeah, they're a little bit, they're not so
Weird.
advanced.
No.
Yeah,
I
weird
agree.
and not so advanced. Let's come
Yeah.
back in maybe 2,000 years if they're still around. We'll say
Yeah,
hello.
yeah. I agree with you. I think what would we be? What are humans to an alien? Like I think we would be kind of like a lizard, like to an alien race. Like I mean, yeah, they're just like crawling around on. They're holding all these devices. They're sort of harmless and like to themselves. Like let's just let them be.
Can you imagine if you sat down with your dinner with Mr. Obama and you were like, Mr. Obama leaned across and he was like, Jeff, we've got a bit of a problem. There's an alien race that's already living amongst us, but they're not very cool. Can you help us rebrand them?
Dream job.
That would be a dream job.
Dream job. Absolutely.
Oh, do you read any sci-fi? I'm going to send you some recommendations.
I used to when I was
Um,
younger. I'm really big into sci-fi. I love all of that stuff.
All
So
right,
send
I'm
me
going to
anywhere.
send you some new stuff, and
Okay.
yeah, you can the whether you like to read or like to listen. There's some great stuff out there at the moment. I'm
Nice.
obsessed. Anyway, what's the most recent photo on your phone?
All
Yeah,
right.
you
Let's
have to
see.
look. I'm going to look at mine as well whilst you dig yours out. Can't remember what I took a picture of. Oh, so
Oh,
mine
this is a good one.
that's mine. That's
What
in
is
my
it?
camper van. It's in my
Oh,
camper van
cool.
on a
Oh,
campsite
pointing
down in
out.
the
That's cool.
Cotswolds.
Look at this one that I
Yeah.
took last night. Can you see
Oh,
that?
very nice.
I mean, this
can, yeah.
like, can you see what's going on in the sky there? So that's not like a plane entrail. That is a rocket ship.
Is that
Talking about
Musk?
no, it's I had dinner last night near NASA JPL, which is the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and we were just eating outside, and all of a sudden this like this thing just shot out into the sky, and I got a great, relatively good photo of it. But yeah, talking about extraterrestrial,
I
activities.
love that. Well, what would you say? This is another question. I'm just going to throw one more question in. What if you just happened to come across an alien and it was just you and them, and they said, hi. What would you say? Would you just sort of go?
I would say
I'd be speechless.
I would say the following sentence: "Take me with you."
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. What is it? I want to get off. Stop the planet. I want to get off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every episode, we ask our previous guest for a question for the next guest. And the guest last week was Ashley Johnson of Pentagram in London. She's head of brand narrative. And she asked, what's the most beautiful thing you've made that no one else will ever see?
That is a beautiful question. Um, never is a hard word. Never see? Wow. I don't really create things for that are never meant to be seen. Isn't that strange? Is that weird?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. No, if that's kind of your fuel to your fire, that you like to make things that are shared with the world, then
Yeah. I created, I'll answer this. I created this thing. I'm looking at it right now. It's right there. And it's never been seen. I don't foresee ever sharing it, but I hate to say never. Like maybe I will share it. But it's a piece that I made using you know what a box score is? Do you know what that is?
Box score. No.
Box score is like after a sport game, like a basketball game or something like that. It's all the statistics of that game, like tabulated, and it looks almost like an Excel spreadsheet, right? So I
Okay.
have a box score that I created into sort of like a diorama of a like there's a frame, there's like it was a basketball box score game, and there's a box score motif. And there's like pieces of a flattened basketball. It's like a collage diorama thing that I made, and in the middle of it is this box score, and I made a golden plaque under it, and in the plaque engraved it says "The Wave Off," the WAVE off, okay, in quotes. And the game that in question is an athlete named Jeremy Lin, who was a New York Knick. Okay, he's a 5'5" Chinese man, Harvard graduate
Wow.
that somehow made it to the NBA. Was for the most part terrible his whole career, and then through a series of strange occurrences, because the Knicks got so many injured players, they went so far down the roster that they were like, all we have left is this 5'5" Chinese kid from Harvard. Let's give him a try. His name is Jeremy Lin. Okay, for a week he played, and talking about alien race culture, like an alien possessed him, and it was called Linsanity. Jeremy Lin, Linsanity, because he would score 40, 50 points a game. He went up against Kobe Bryant. Kobe's like, I've never even heard of this guy. He schooled Kobe Bryant, okay, for an entire week. It was incredible for sports, for New York, for Asians in general. And this game is the game that he played against Kobe, where he scored 38 points against Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant, before the game, said, I'm going to erase this guy from your memories, New York. Like, it's over for this guy, right? He outscored Kobe, and and also the game was a buzzer beater. It was like a very close game to the very end. It was the last shot that was going to determine it. And he's got the ball, and all his other teammates, these big 6 foot, 7 foot goons, are like, "Give me the ball! Your dream is over. Give me the ball! Like, this is important now. Playtime's over." And what he did at half court, he's dribbling, and he waved everyone off. He said, "Everyone go away. I've got this." Went up, made the game-winning basket, and it was crazy. And I'm getting goosebumps telling the story because in my culture, you're taught to be humble, you're taught to be subservient, and you're taught to take your wins and be very quiet about them. And thank you for allowing me to share this moment of my greatness with you. I will go away now. That's what we're taught in my culture. So this idea of like, get away, I'm doing this and I put this up here because when I have meetings and when I have negotiations with people that are trying to put me in a box of either you're the sneaker guy, or you're the pigeon guy, or you're the Chinese guy, or you're the young cool kid, you're not ready for my world or this world or that world, I'm reminded to go away. I've got the ball. Yeah.
I love that. That's magical. Thank you for sharing that. Now, that just leaves with us to ask you, what's your question for the next guest, please?
Okay. My question for the next guest is, if you had to live for the rest of your life with one typeface, what would that typeface be?
Oh my gosh, that's brutal. I love it. Thank you, Jeff. That's going to really annoy them. Well, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. And
This is
just,
so fun.
just wonderful. Thank
Good to see you again. Thank you.
Well, did you enjoy that? I know I certainly did. Slightly embarrassed that I asked him. I wanted to be made cool, but there you go. It was Jeff Staple. What can I say? One thing that really stuck with me was him talking about digging his own snow grave on the mountains in the Andes, then choosing to go straight back out snowboarding the very next day. I mean, you have to, don't you? You have to get back on the board as soon as possible. I guess you could say it's a really good reminder that fear can either stop us or it can sharpen us. And sometimes the best thing you can do is just crack on. Thanks so much for watching the Creative Being podcast. If you enjoyed it, hit subscribe and come back for more honest conversations with creative people.